coming together to celebrate, connect and share a meal. And here's to a night that really matters. Now, will you please join with me as I welcome our Board Chair of Ambulance Victoria, Mr Ken Lay, AO, APM.
Thanks, Tony, for that welcome, and thanks everyone else. It's extraordinary, actually, to look around the room and see so many familiar faces. Some people, relationships stretch back for decades rather than years or months. So thank you so much for your ongoing support of Ambulance Victoria and other agencies in the state. It's, as I say, it's wonderful. Before I begin, let me also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting. It is upon their ancestral lands that this place is built. I pay my respects to elders, past, present and emerging, and to any of our First Nations people who may be here tonight. As I say, I can look at every table and see someone from a life previous. It's quite extraordinary, actually, how many people have actually came into my office as Chief Commissioner and given me all sorts of advice. So I look at Burhan there and Andrew Crisp, who spent far too much time in there actually giving me advice. But it is great to see so many friends here. Thank you to the AV Board Directors for coming along here tonight, and the Community Advisory Committee members as well. It's an extraordinarily important cultural signpost for our organisation that we support events like this. It sends a good, strong message to the organisation that events such as this are very, very important. I would like to acknowledge a very special former director who's here tonight as well, and that's Tasneem Chopra, who I'm sure is known by many of you. Tasneem came onto our board 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was one of Tasneem's first boards. She challenged us, she helped us in her own very gentle way, took us to a much better place, and time after time after time challenged our thinking across the board table. So Tasneem, we do miss you. You're a very special person and a very good person. So some of you may not be aware, after leaving AV and helping us get sorted out, she's now working at the Collingwood Football Club, helping them getting sorted out. So good luck with that, Tasneem. Tasneem, yes, Tasneem. Tony's already acknowledged some very special guests tonight, and I too acknowledge and thank those people for sharing the breaking of the fast during the holy month of Ramadan. As Tony was recognising these guests, I was reflecting on each of their very special contributions in making our society a better, healthier, fairer, safer and more inclusive place. It's enormously important to recognise these people, the faith leaders, the community leaders, the role models, the change agents, and those who inspire us. But tonight I would just like to sidestep convention a little bit, and I'd like to also acknowledge others in the room who have performed extraordinarily during these very difficult times. So there are people in the room who are just like the Honourable Steve McGee down here. People who are working very hard to advocate for and support our paramedics through the good and the bad times. I would like to acknowledge those people. There are those in the room just like the Emergency Management Commissioner Andrew Crisp. People working hard to keep us safe and well in dangerous and uncertain times. I would like to acknowledge those people. There are people in the room just like Dr Omar Baarini, people working in and on our health system to keep it functioning whilst it's under enormous pressure and unprecedented strain. I would like to acknowledge those people. I would also like to, there are also people in the room like Viv Nguyen. People whose focus is on ensuring a fair and equitable community. Despite the pressures that a pandemic creates on a whole range of relationships, I would like to acknowledge those people as well. So everyone in the room tonight, including those we have formally mentioned at the beginning, I acknowledge and thank you for your extraordinary efforts during extraordinary times. It makes me feel very, very humble. Our first Iftar dinner was held in 2016, as Ahmet commented. We hosted it along with the Australian Intercultural Society, the Benevolence Australia and the United Muslim Migrants Association. It was a wonderful night. It was the first chance for many of our people in the organisation to better understand our Muslim communities. But that night actually started a journey for our organisation. A journey towards building a better and more responsive organisation. It started a journey towards delivering better outcomes for our patients, particularly those that sometimes did not feel comfortable in calling us. It started a journey to help us better understand cultural differences, recognising that our failure to do this may result in terrible outcomes, particularly for some women. That night also started a journey that has no end, because constant improvement through engagement and understanding is exactly that. It is constant. In short, the work must continue. History is littered with well-meaning public servants believing that they knew what was best for communities, particularly communities where they had little or no understanding of the cultural norms. In my humble view, any organisation that thinks significant and fundamental change can be achieved without critical friends is doomed to fail. And this is why tonight I wanted to reflect on one of Ambulance Victoria's very important critical friend. Back in 2015, I remember Ahmet Keskin reaching out and inquiring about AV's willingness to host an iftar dinner. To me, that discussion was the organisation's eureka moment in community engagement. Both Tony and I knew we had an enormous opportunity. With Ahmet's guidance, we were on the way. This had been our fifth very special dinner, all different, extraordinary in their own way. So what have we learned though, both individually and as an organisation? Ahmet's message of tolerance has always been consistent. It has been clear and it has been emphatic. For us as an organisation, it has helped break down some barriers of fear, of misunderstanding for both patients and our people. It's contributed to our capacity to celebrate diversity, and tonight is just another clear example of that success. I am confident that the last 5 years has made Ambulance Victoria a better and more inclusive organisation. Thank you, Ahmet, for your foresight, your help, and your gentle persuasion along the journey. However, your work is not finished, so don't get too comfortable. So before I finish, let me direct my final remarks to those of Ambulance Victoria who are attending their first iftar dinner. Ramadan is a very special and holy time for Muslims. This evening, you will have the opportunity to listen, to learn, and to reflect on what you hear and see. Do not be afraid to ask questions of those at your table. I still do every iftar dinner I attend. So no matter if you're a paramedic, a corporate employee, a director, a volunteer, or someone from our advisory committee, I'm certain you'll be enriched by the generosity, the faith, the humanity and the humility that will be on display tonight. It's an honour for us all at Ambulance Victoria to break the fast with some special friends. On behalf of the board, thank you all for joining us tonight.